you plan to keep the trust between the Bakersfield Police Department and the community?
We have to be looking at some accountability. We have to be looking at keeping the police accountable as well as the citizens. If you look at other successful cities, they've implemented a body camera program. This program has been extremely successful. Body cameras cost about $240,000 and cost about $240,000 a year to maintain the video footage, according to Police Chief Williamson. We've got to have the body cameras. Once we have the accountability in place, we start making partnerships with people like Wendell Davis and other leaders.
I was asking community members their input after the forums, and they are encouraged. Yes, we have a long way still to go, but as we come together, as we meet in community forums, as we do outreach, we can make a difference and change the future of our community. I'm optimistic that the work has begun.
We need to have a third agency to be able to enhance and see and oversight cases on a case-by-case basis. You mix all these as well as the body cameras that Mr. Esposito mentioned, this will limit and help improve our community and the relationship between our community, and it will help bring together the trust once again.
I think that our police are great. I think that the public supports them wildly. I think that that's one of the things that we should build on here in Bakersfield.
The president has recently passed a directive which would force schools to allow people to use the bathroom as the sex they identify as. Question: what would be your approach towards this issue?
Well, as mayor of Bakersfield, I would make sure every darn restroom across the nation would be a private restroom.
I think President Obama should have pretty much allowed North Carolina to make their own decision. I think that this thing is too early to make those kind of rash decisions, so I'm going to stand firm on that.
You choose what gender you're going to be nowadays, I guess. I have never had that problem. I've always been me.
How accessible will you guys make yourselves to the common Bakersfield citizen that comes to you with a good idea or maybe a problem? How can they talk to you?
I can't do it by myself. If I can do it by myself, I'm accessible. My number's 98111 right now. When they called me up to come to the crime scene on Owen 40th Street, and I'm not even the mayor yet, I came out there. I'm accessible. It's easy to get a hold of me. I don't have a problem with that.
What do we owe to Bakersfield veterans who are homeless? TJ?
The folks that risk their life and limb, we are in great debt to. Our veterans are special people, and we really have to take care of them. I think that we've been neglectful in taking care of our veterans. We have to do more. If you look at our current congressman, he's the closest thing that we could have to getting a VA center here, a hospital for them, and he hasn't done it in all the years he's been congressman. Now, one time I heard the mayor putting pressure on him to bring a VA hospital. I think if I'm mayor, I'm not going to be a quiet mayor. I'm going to be a louder mayor. I'm going to put pressure on the congressman, and I'm going to put pressure on him and say, hey, do more for the vets. If you'd look, he's been exploiting the vets on TV, on his commercials, and hasn't done a damn thing for them. We need to do more for our vets. We need to take care of our vets. Those that risk life and limb, we need to do more.
What are the challenges that they face? Lack of housing in safe neighborhoods. Secondly, the challenges of mental health and lack of a substance abuse treatment on-site center in Bakersfield. They have to travel out of our community.
With the oil industry as being at its worst in years, how do you plan to help Bakersfield to come out of this oil slump with the least damage as possible? Mr. De Leon, you're on right now.
Well, I don't really know how we would do that right off without researching it. And as the mayor, for the position that is for the mayor,
I think we should look at more exploration of fracking. I think a lot of people have been opposed to that, but I think there's a lot of avenues that we can explore.
My question is, I know that the mayor is more of a ceremonial position. Hopefully it holds a good amount of influence. So who or where would you like to focus your influence? What do you feel would be important, not so much all the political issues with the officers and cops and things like that, but where or who would you like to put your influence with to bring things?
You know, the thing is, we've got too many career politicians in office. We've got staff and career politicians that are making $200,000-$300,000 a year salaries. Bakersfield you don't need to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year to live in Bakersfield. I don't care who you are. Now, here's the thing, is the mayor is the one person that represents the citizens in government. That is your voice. The mayor is your voice. Although our mayor's been a kind man and a cunning businessman, by the way, he's been quiet. We need a mayor who's going to be young, fresh, somebody who's going to stand up to these career politicians in government and report back to the citizens. The thing is, most of you don't know what happens in government because career politicians and Abernathy candidates, all the way from Kevin McCarthy to Alan Tandy, are running this community into the ground. We need somebody who's going to take them on head to head, toe to toe. And here's how you level that playing field. You report to the citizens and you keep those guys accountable at the ballot.
I'm helping and getting my hands dirty, feeding these people good meals, trying to feed them more meals. Now, remember this. People that are homeless doesn't mean that they're not working. People's bellies stay empty while houses sit empty also. There's one working person in a homeless family, and they're staying with whoever. I mean, that's just part of it, It's just, not everybody is out of work. But they're homeless. They find themselves homeless. They find themselves in need. It's hard enough to do it. And you know what? In this whole election, the Lords of Bakersfield, or whatever you want to call them, basically narrowed it down to 2. Vote with your heart, because everybody here is good.
What do you think is the best way to attract new businesses into Cook County?
We need to continue building the businesses that we have here in town. We can bring more businesses into town, but we've had them come and they're leaving. So we need to continue to build the businesses that we have right here in town. Make those businesses stronger. So the money that they continue to generate will go back into our economy.
Since it is very obvious that the hemp industry is a very profitable market and is job creating, do you support the expansion of it in Bakersfield? Mr. Esposito.
In regards to the medical marijuana industry, I'm actually the only candidate that talked about it. We've got 115 dispensaries in Bakersfield. That's too many dispensaries for one city. Our city and our county has spent millions of dollars trying to shut these places down. What we have to do is we have to stop thinking so stubbornly. Our city and county government are so stubborn. They're spending millions and this problem's getting worse and worse. We've got to limit that down to 30, 35 shops, charge a fee for a license, $60,000, $70,000. That'll be positive income for a license, and it will basically self-regulate itself. If you pay $60,000 for a license, you're going to follow the rules. Next, we need to implement a small city tax, 5%, for those medical marijuana dispensaries. See, it has to be a win-win for the collective, for the patient, and for the city, okay? Shutting them down, spending millions of dollars is just an ignorant thing. We've got to start making money like cities like Denver, Colorado.
Thank you.
While I was on the Board of Supervisors, we made an effort to regulate in a way that the dispensaries would be spread out appropriately so that there would be access for proper prescriptions for those who really need medical marijuana. However, the clusters are totally unacceptable and are not productive for our community.
I want to take some of the ideas that Ms. Go and Mr. Esposito spoke about. I do agree that we need to have firm regulations on these shops. I believe that we shouldn't have so many shops available throughout Kern County just because of the society, the message that is sent to our society, basically saying that it's okay to smoke marijuana. There's research showing that it could lead to other drugs and other activities and other crimes. Data suggests that.
Mr. De La Torre mentioned that marijuana leads into other drugs. I think that's totally bogus. There's no research. It's just a scapegoat to shut down marijuana dispensaries. Mrs. Go did serve on the Board of Supervisors when they blatantly tried to shut down marijuana dispensaries by making them a mile apart, away from schools and churches. This is the backwards thinking that I'm talking about. We have to be more progressive and get in front of these issues.
How many shops should we actually have? And the community came forward with some who felt like there was a legitimate use. However, we wanted to make sure that your children were safe.
Would you back and sponsor and get into hemp fields.
I don't know enough about the issue, but I will commit to you to study the issue and to be informed when I'm called upon to make a decision.
Good leaders should be able to get up here and answer a question when asked on the spot, period. And that's what I'm going to intend to do. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm going to tell you I'm going to show up for the prayer. I'm going to tell you about marijuana, okay? Here's the thing, is I'm actually an expert in the Superior Court for jury trials on marijuana issues. I get paid by the court, by prosecutors, and by defense attorneys to answer questions. I absolutely understand the difference between hemp and marijuana. We should be embracing hemp. It is a great product. We have so much farmland.
Bakersfield?
Absolutely. You know what? Let me tell you something.
Bakersfield, yeah, we got a bunch.
Now, in Kern County, we have so much farmland. A lot of it is drought-ridden, and hemp, by the way, doesn't take much water to grow. And it's very lucrative. We need to be expanding to different crops. We need to be looking at some of these things, encouraging farmers to look at some of these different crops and absolutely embrace this industry.